Hey everybody, it's Dan with Hip Hops. Thanks for tuning in. Today I'm going to be pairing up Southern Grist BroCoNut, and I will be matching it with the Black Keys Brothers. So stay tuned. I'll talk a little bit about the album, play some of my favorite tracks, and taste test the beer. Thanks. And remember, if you could like and subscribe, it would help me a lot. Alright, so Southern Grist is located in Nashville, Tennessee, and BroCoNut is a coconut IPA, and it is brewed with toasted coconut, and then it's hopped with Citra and Equinox hops. Comes in at 6.2%, and it was brewed for or inspired by Kyle the Bro Arnold, who this was a home brew that he used to make. He's now the lead brewer at Southern Grist, as well as a designer for the overall concept that they have. And if you are familiar with their cans, they have a lot of really cool cans. And I have to say, so this says keep cold, drink fresh, don't age me, bro. And I made a mistake. I, for some reason, was thinking that this was a porter with coconut. So this was canned back in February, and we're now in the middle of August. And I kind of didn't realize it until it was too late. So we'll see how this held up, and if it's anything's wrong with it, it's definitely probably on me. All right, so it pours pretty clear out of the can. Yeah, it's definitely, so it's a clear IPA. It's got some chill haze there, but it's like that bright yellow golden straw color. And right away I smell the hops. You get a little bit of like a mellowness to the hops that I think is coming from the coconut. I'm not pulling, like some coconut beers, you smell it and it smells like suntan lotion. I'm not getting that on this one, which I'm hoping with the toasted coconut that won't be the case. So let's give it a taste. Oh wow. So you definitely get the coconut on the taste, but it blends really well with the hops. And I was really afraid again that it was gonna be like that suntan lotion. I don't know if I've ever had a coconut IPA before, but this one works, and I like the toasted coconut note is very good. And the head went down, but it's got the big soapy bubbles, and it doesn't taste old or anything. Maybe the hops have faded a little bit, so I would definitely wish I would have paid closer attention and opened this closer to the canning date. I got this when I went to their Western Nashville, I can't remember what the neighborhood is called right now, tap room on my way home from Florida. I was driving with my family. That was back in like March. So I got this fresh and then set on it like a bozo. But yeah, very good beer. I'm gonna look forward to sipping on that. All right, so the Black Keys. For those not familiar, the Black Keys are sort of like a garage rock / blues band. It consists of Patrick Carney, who is the drummer, and then Dan Auerbach, who is the lead vocalist and guitarist. And a lot of their earlier albums in this was one of their first ones that really gained like mainstream attention. A lot of their early albums were a little rougher in the sense like this one's more polished, like, and from a production standpoint. A lot of the other ones were more of a blues, garage rock, less polished vibe. And these guys are from Ohio. I believe they're from Akron, if I'm not mistaken. Can't remember, but yeah. So this is on None Such Records, and released in 2010. It's their 6th studio album. And yeah, this is the only Black Keys I own right now. I mean, I have all of their albums on my want list, but this one I just happened to pick up. So the album cover was designed by Carney's brother, and this album has sort of an interesting backstory to it. The Black Keys, they're a duo, like I mentioned, and right before this album, they had a little rift between the two members, and Patrick's then ex-wife, Dan, never really liked her, and I guess she was not a good person, to put it lightly. I read a little bit up on it on Wikipedia, but she sort of like got in between the two of them, and that caused this rift between them. And this was the first album after that rift. During that like off period in between albums, Dan Auerbach went out and did a solo album, and so there was interviews that I believe with Patrick, he said like he didn't know like what the plans were or what was going on, if Dan was just gonna stay solo or what was going on. And Patrick eventually divorced his now ex-wife, and now he's married to, I can't remember if it's like Michelle Branch or something, but he's married to another famous singer, and I think they live in South Carolina now or something. But so this was their first album following that rift, and I don't know if like the name Brothers has to do with the fact that they, even though that they had that fight, that they remained friends or brothers, because they've been together so long, and they've put out several albums since this. And this album actually won Grammy for Best Alternative Album the year it came out, and has gone platinum in the US. So this pressing is, I don't know if this is the first pressing or not, I can't remember. But it came with a CD version. It's the same exact cover, just this is an album by the Black Keys. The name of the album is Brothers. It came on a CD, I haven't even opened that yet. And then as well as coming, I'm not going to completely fold this out, but it's a, you can see there, it's a, or, yeah, we'll fold it out a little bit. It's a poster. This is a Black Keys poster. And the vinyl is just it's on black vinyl with a pretty standard silver with the black lettering there with the label. So the first song I'm gonna play out the album is called Tighten Up. It's the third track on the album. I can remember when this song came out, it was one of the first singles, and I'm sure you've probably heard it, but the music video is the two band members, and they're bringing their sons to the playground to play with each other. And Dan's son is in the video is like, do I really have to play with him? Like he smells like ranch dressing. And you can tell that they don't really like each other, but they're sort of being forced to play with each other. And it turns out there's a little girl at the playground that catches both of their eyes, and they start competing to try and show off for the little girl and get into a fight, and it causes this big fight at the playground with all the kids jumping on. And the two band members decide that they need to go break it up with their sons. And they go out there, and in the middle of pulling these kids off and getting attacked by the kids, they see the mom, who I think is the mom, if I remember correctly, of the little girl. And they start competing and fighting over her. And so it's sort of just like a fun little music video that's always stuck with me. But yeah, this song, it starts out with that like whistling, which I'm not even gonna try and do. And then like most of their songs, it has a great guitar riff. And then even if you listen carefully, it's very light, but towards the middle of the song, the organ comes in. But yeah, it's great rhythm with a good guitar riffs. So I'm sure you've heard the song, but this is Tighten Up. Song I'm going to play for you is another one of the major singles off of this album. It's called Howlin' For You, and this is another one that you've probably heard. I'm sure, I think it's been on commercials and everything, and probably on movies and television. It's probably one of their most well-known songs, and so I'm just going to go ahead and play that since you probably already know it. third track I'm gonna play for you is the last one on the album. It's called These Days, and this was one of the first songs that they recorded for this album. And it's sort of, if you listen to the lyrics, it talks about their fight, and it talks about like getting back together, and sort of an ode to that rift that they had. So yes, this one is called These Days. It's a little slower than the first two, but it's a great song.
Oak tree cover that old Ford. I miss it, Lord. I miss it, Lord. These blood red eyes don't seem so good, but that's burns if they could. I changed my ways, wasted time, good memories, violent love so
All right, so that was my 3 favorite tracks off the album. Black Keys, they're a great band. If you're not familiar with them, which most of you, I am assuming, likely are. They've been coming out with new albums. They just came out with another new album. They're heavily influenced by Delta blues legends like Junior Kimbrough. And I believe the latest album, I listened to it, but I think if I remember reading correctly, that it's like a lot of covers from the Delta blues. It might even be, I'm trying to think of which album it was that they came out with that was like a lot of Junior Kimbrough covers. But it's a great, if you're into blues music, this sort of gives it a more modern vibe. And if you're into garage rock, it's sort of a good hybrid between the two. And I definitely recommend checking out their other albums. And as far as Southern Grist goes, I've liked everything I had. I think I still have one more of their beers in the fridge downstairs. So I don't know if I'll have a pairing for that or not, but until next week, try some new beers and listen to some new music. Cheers.